Hello everyone, this is Dr. Mihir Shah once again with another video. In this video, we are going to learn the effect of merger on EPS, MPS and PE ratio. So in this sum, basically they will ask us to find EPS, MPS and PE and what will be the effect if we are going to merge different companies. Okay, this is a very important topic from the chapter called as corporate restructuring under the subject strategic financial management. Again, a very important topic for all the TY BMS students appearing for semester state. Okay, now in this topic, we are going to cover up each and every topic based on the effect of merger. So there are two types of sum that we need to learn in this one, which will have EPS, MPS, and PE, and the second one will be basically based on net asset value method. Okay, so there are two types of sum that we will be covering up here. So let us start with the very first type of sum. Okay, now in order to solve that, we'll have to first note down few formulas, okay, and some formats. So let us go through that quickly and then we'll see how to solve the sum. Okay, the very first thing is the formula of EPS. Now earning per share formula will be net profit after tax minus preference dividend upon number of equity share. And second, price earning ratio will be equal to MPS, that is market price per share upon earning per share. Okay, so these are the two important formula first you need to note down. So see that everyone note down this formula. Okay, once you have noted down, so in the sum also it will be like you'll have to first find EPS, PE and MPS. The MPS usually will be given in the question. Okay, once you get that, then they will ask you to find the exchange ratio if the companies are merging. Okay, and thereafter, after finding the exchange ratio, find the new number of shares. Okay, so exchange ratio can be based on MPS, EPS, or even price earning PE ratio. Formula will be market price of the share or EPS of target company upon MPS, EPS of acquiring company. Okay, target company is a company who's getting acquired, and acquiring company is the one who's going to acquire the other company. Number of equity share formula will be the new number, will be the exchange ratio into the shares of the target company, the company who's been acquired. Okay, these are the other two formulas which you'll have to note down. To see that, you'll even note down this. Now see, now it will be looking a little complicated. Once we start with the solving part, it will be very simple. Okay. Next, after getting the new shares, we'll have to find something called as post-merger EPS. That is, after merging the company, okay, what will be the new earning per share of the company? Okay, so in order to find the post-merger EPS, the formula of EPS remains same. That is net profit after tax minus preference dividend upon number of equity share. But here now the NPAT will be NPAT of acquiring the company plus the target company. So you'll have to add up both the companies' net profit after tax, and number of equity share will be the shares of the acquiring company plus the new issue based on the previous formula that we did. Okay, and one more thing, there's in the question at times you can get that NPAT can also be calculated as EPS into number of shares. And the word synergies, if it comes anywhere in the question, it means extra profit which will get again added to your NPAT. Okay, so based on all these formulas which we just showed up on the slide, okay, let us see how to solve the sum, okay, based on these formula method. Okay, so chalo, let us see how these all formulas can be used in solving the sum. Okay, now let us see how to solve sum based on corporate restructuring. Okay, we'll read the question once. This is the very first type which covers up basically the entire first topic. Okay, there are, like you can say, the sum can be divided, this chapter can be divided in two parts. One where we are going to solve one particular type of sum, and the second one is based on net asset value method. Okay, so let us read the question once. The question states out that Sun Limited is considering to acquire Moon Limited. The relevant financial information is given below. They have given you net profit after tax, equity, that is number of shares, and market price of both the company, that is Sun Limited and Moon Limited. After that, they are giving you what is the exchange ratio based on EPS, PE ratio and market price. That's the very first thing they have asked you to find, the exchange ratio between all. After that, they said how many new shares would be issued if exchange takes place as per market price, second as per EPS, and third as per PE ratio. So they're asking you to find the new shares also. And third,
what are the earnings per share of the surviving company immediately following the merger. So after merger, what is the new EPS? Okay, that is what they are trying us, asking us to find. Okay, so now let us see how to solve such. So what we are going to do here is check this method. Okay, first we will find normally what is the value of EPS and what is the value of P. Okay, first step. Second, we'll take one at a time. Okay, we'll take the exchange rate between both the companies based on EPS, then we'll take it on PE ratio, then we'll take it on market price, and along with that we'll even find the new number, the new value of EPS. So we'll take one thing at a time. Okay, if you're doing market price, first we'll solve entire thing as per market price, then we'll take it on earning per share, and then we'll take it on PE ratio. So let us see. Okay, so everyone listen to this very carefully. Okay, see how we go about with this stuff. Okay, the very first thing that what we are going to note down is we will first find out earning per share. Next, we will find out the exchange rate when earning per share is given, or we need to consider that, and what will be the new EPS. Okay, if we are taking the exchange ratio of the old EPS. Okay, so let us see how to formulate that kind of sum. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is number one. Okay, number one, okay, the very first thing what we are going to do here is we are going to find the EP as per EPS method. Okay, we are going to do as per EPS method. Now EPS ka formula is net profit after tax minus preference dividend upon the number of equity shares. Okay, so that is the formula of EPS, whether it is the old EPS or the after merger EPS, the formula remains the same. Okay, the formula will be the same. So what you're going to do here is first we're going to find for Sun Limited and for Moon Limited the value of their EPS. So for Sun Limited, EPS will be, now if you look at the question, the net profit after tax given is 75 lakh, and for Moon it is 40 lakh. So I'll write it here. For Sun it is 75 lakhs. Less preference dividend, so there is no preference dividend. Same way here it is 40 lakhs. Less dividend, which is 0. Upon number of equity shares, so number is here is given here as 40 lakhs for Sun Limited and 32 lakhs for Moon Limited. So upon 40 lakhs and 32 lakhs. This is supposed to be 40 lakhs. Okay, 40 lakhs, and this is supposed to be 75 lakhs. Okay, so this is 32 lakhs. Okay, so when you divide, so it will be 75 lakh upon 40 lakhs, so which comes to 1.875, and when you check for Moon Limited, it will be around 1.25. So the earning per share of Sun Limited and Moon Limited we have already found. Okay, so now this is like the first part of the question where they asked you to find what is, this is the basic thing what we have found, because now we need to find the exchange ratio. For exchange ratio, as per EPS method, I need the value of EPS. Okay, the old EPS. Okay, so now what we are going to do, we are going to try finding the exchange ratio. So here number one, the A part, we are trying to find the exchange ratio. So exchange ratio as per EPS method is equal to EPS of target company upon EPS of acquiring company. Now target company is that company which is going to be taken over. So here in the question is given that Sun is considering to acquire Moon. So Moon is the taken over company or the target company, and Sun will become the acquiring company. So EPS of target, that is Moon, we already found that as 1.25 upon the EPS of acquiring company, that is 1.875. Okay, so 1.25 divided by 1.875, we should get the value as 0.66. That's the exchange ratio. Okay, now once we have found the exchange ratio, they are asked us how many new shares would be issued. So B part, new issue of shares, okay, that is in number. The new number of issues of share or new shares that are going to be issued in number will be very simple. The formula is exchange ratio into number of shares of target company. So exchange ratio was 0.66 and the shares, if you look carefully, of the new company was 32, of the target company was 32 lakhs. So into 32 lakhs. So when I multiply, if we multiply 0.66 into 32 lakhs, okay, now remember this was 0.666, okay, it was constant, okay, so we will take it as 32 lakhs into 0.6666 till the end of the calculator, and then we will press the equal to sign and we should get the value as 21 lakh 33,333. That's the new number of shares that has to be issued. And now lastly, once we get this value, we need to find the third part of the question. What are the earning after the merger? So we need to find post merger EPS. Again, the formula will be the same. The only thing now, in order to find the net profit after tax, we'll have to merge both the companies' net profit. So it was 75 lakh plus 40 lakhs. So here it will become 75 lakhs plus 40 lakhs less preference dividend, which is 0, upon the number of equity share will be the old shares of the acquiring company, which is 40 lakhs, plus the new shares. Okay, this is the value which you need. The new shares, that is 22 lakh 21 lakh 33,333. Okay, so once you add and once you divide, your final answer should have been rupees 1.875 per share. Okay, so this is how you'll have to solve. Basically, when they tell you to find the exchange ratio, find the new number of shares, find the new EPS as per EPS method. Okay, taking into EPS into consideration. So we first found the old EPS, we used that EPS to get the exchange ratio, we got the exchange ratio, we used it to find the number of new shares, and then we used it in our final formula, that is the EPS formula, but the new values, and got the new post merger EPS. Okay, now this was as per EPS. Now we will take the second part where they ask us to find again all this thing as per PE ratio. So first we will find the PE ratio, and then we will again go in the same format. We will find the exchange, new, and then the post merger EPS when PE is taken into consideration. Okay, so chalo, let us see how to solve the second part while taking the whole thing under PE ratio. Okay, now the second part, we need to first find the PE ratio, that is price earning ratio. Formula is market price of the share upon earning per share. Okay, now remember, earning per share we have already found in the previous part when we did, and the market price of the share is already given in the question. Okay, so again for Sun Limited and for Moon Limited, we are finding PE ratio. So market price of the share given is 18.75 for Sun, and for Moon Limited it is 7.5, and the EPS for Sun Limited was, we have already found in the previous, it was 1.875, and for Moon it was 1.25. Okay, so if you divide it, we would have got the first PE as 10 times, and for the second one PE was 6 times. Okay, when you divide, the answer is supposed to come 6, so 6 times is your PE ratio. Okay, now that was the first part. Now we come where they asked us to find all the various things. Okay, so number one, they asked us to find the exchange ratio. So again, I'll write here A, exchange ratio as per PE ratio. The formula will be PE of target company, which in this case is Moon, upon PE of acquiring company, which is Sun Limited. So here the PE was very simple, it's 6 upon 10. So 6 divided by 10, we will get the value as 0.6 as the exchange ratio. B, once we get the exchange ratio, now we need to find the new number of shares to be issued. So the new number of shares to be issued ka formula is very simple. We have exchange ratio into the number of shares of target company. So here the exchange ratio was 0.6 and the number of shares were 32 lakhs. Okay, so when I multiply 0.6 into 32 lakhs, we get the value as 19 lakh 20,000 as a new number of shares. C part, very simple. Now we are finding the post merger EPS. The formula will be net profit after tax minus preference dividend upon the number of equity share. Okay, so the net profit after tax, we'll have to merge up both the companies. So 75 lakh plus 40 lakhs. Okay, as we had done in the previous also. So 75 lakhs plus 40 lakhs less dividend 0 upon the number of equity share. Now of the acquiring company, the number of equity was already 40 lakhs plus the new issue of shares that we did of 19 lakh 20,000. That's it. So you add up, you divide, and you will get your final answer as rupees 1.942 per share. Got it? So this is how we solved. We found the new exchange ratio, the new number of shares to be issued, and the post-merger EPS considering PE ratio as per PE ratio method. So first one was as per EPS, second one was PE. In the same order, but you just have to consider the PE ratio in this. Okay. Now we'll jump to the last part where they told us to take it as per market price. Okay. So now let us see how to do the third part of the sum. Okay, now the third part is based on market price. Now market price doesn't have a formula right now. The market price is directly given to us. So for Sun Limited and for Moon Limited, the market price of the share is given. Sun ka market price is 18.75 and for Moon the market price of the share is 7.5. Okay, now as per the first part, they are asking us to find the exchange ratio. So we'll write exchange ratio as per market price of the share, that is MPS. Okay, will be again MPS of target company, which is Moon Limited, upon MPS of acquiring company, which is Sun Limited. So here it will be 7.5 upon 18.75, which will come to 0.4. That is nothing but the exchange ratio. Second, the new number of shares to be issued. The new number of shares to be issued का formula will be exchange ratio into number of shares of target company. So exchange ratio was 0.4 and the number of shares were 32 lakhs. When you multiplied, we got 0.4 into 32 lakhs, which came to 12 lakh 80,000. Okay, once I get that, we come to the last post merger EPS, which is NPAT minus preference dividend upon number of equity share. Now NPAT again we add up, so it will be 75 lakhs plus 40 lakhs plus 0 upon number of equity share. All were already 40 lakhs plus the new, which is 12 lakh 80,000. So you add up, you divide, and you will get the final answer as rupees 2.175 per share. Okay, so this is how I like to solve the sum based on market price. Okay, when exchange ratio, new and post merger, when we are considering the market price of the share. So this was a sum in which we had covered up basically everything based on EPS, market price, and the PE ratio. Okay, so I hope everyone have understood that we solved the whole part in 3 different methods. Okay, based on the question. So in this question, everything was asked. In the exam, they can ask you any 1 or any 2 types from that. Okay. Now let us see the other type of sum where they will be considering net asset value. Okay, so we'll have to first find the value of equity share as per net asset value method, and then they'll ask you to find the exchange ratio and the new number of shares. So let us see how to solve those sums.
Okay, now the second method or the second type of sum will be based on something called as net asset method. Okay, so we'll have to first make a format, get the net asset of the company, and thereafter we can find the post merger EPS. Okay, so there's a format to get the net asset value of the companies. So the format is we have assets at market value, less liabilities, less preference capital, less preference dividend, only if they are in arrears. When you less your liability, preference capital, and preference dividend from your all your asset ka total value, you will get net asset available to the equity shareholder. That amount, okay, once you get the net asset available to the equity shareholder, we can find the net asset value per share. We need this value, okay, we need NAV per share, that is net asset value per share. The formula is net asset available to the equity shareholder divided by number of equity shares. Once we get that net asset value, we can easily use it under the exchange ratio. Okay, so the exchange ratio will be similar. Okay, net asset of taken over company, that is acquired company, upon net asset of company which is taking over. So we have the target company and we have the acquiring company, and thereafter we have again same thing. We have number of shares issued, which will be number of shares of the taken over company into the exchange ratio. So it's the same. These are the same formula which we used in the earlier method also. Okay. So now let us see how you can use this format and how to calculate the exchange ratio and the number of shares. Okay, once we get the number of shares, then we can apply it into the basic formula, that is the post merger EPS formula, and similarly we can solve and get the final NPAT. Okay, or we can say final post merger EPS. Okay, so again NMAT, we'll look at the new NPAT, which is nothing but the merger net profit after tax, the merger of both the companies less preference dividend upon the number of equity share, which will be made up of the acquiring company plus the new issue ka numbers. Okay, which is exactly similar to the first method. The only new thing in this is the net asset method ka format. So now let us see how to inculcate this particular method with the help of a problem sum.
So now let us go through the question once. In the question is given that Tiger Limited wishes to take over Leopard Limited. The financial details of the two companies are as under. They are giving you Tiger Limited and Leopard Limited, and they are giving you equity share, security premium, profit and loss account, preference share, debentures, fixed asset and current assets. After that they're giving you calculate the net asset value per share and find out the exchange ratio. Now we have already discussed the format, okay, how you need to solve in order to find the value of share as per net asset method, and what are the formulas to find the exchange ratio. So now let us inculcate the same in this particular sum. Okay, so first thing first, we will note down whatever details have been given. So we'll make the format where we'll have particulars, okay. Two companies are there, one is Tiger Limited and the other one is Leopard. So I'll write here this one is Tiger, one is Leopard. Okay, now as per the format, it's always assets at market value less liabilities, that is outside liabilities, less preference shares, and thereafter whatever is available, that is nothing but the net asset available to the equity shareholder. So number one, what we note down here, we'll write assets at market value. Okay, asset at market value. Okay, we will underline this line asset as market value, and we'll note down what all assets have been given to us in the question. Now if you look carefully in the question, they have given us fixed asset and net current asset. Okay, so I'll write here fixed asset. The values of fixed assets are 1,22,000 and for Leopard it is 35,000. So we'll note down this as 35,000. The next thing was net current assets. So I'll write this here as current asset. The values are 51,000 and 26,000. Okay, the moment we add up, we will get our total assets. So we will add it up. So 122 plus 51,000 is 1,73,000. 35 plus 26 is 61,000. Now very simple. The next step is, once we note down this, the next step is we need to subtract all your outside liabilities and all the preference share if there are any. Now if you look carefully, I can see in the liability side, we can see that there is 10% debentures and then there is also preference shares. So we have liabilities, outside liability along with preference shares. So now what I will write here is, I'll write the next thing as less. We have outside liability, so under outside liability we'll directly write here 10% debentures are there. The value is 15,000 and 5,000. So we'll note down that as 15,000 and 5,000. And after that, even we have less preference shares. Question they also have given us preference shares. So less preference shares. The value is 20,000 for the first company, that is Tiger, and nil for Leopard. Okay, again very simple. You note down all the asset, you less all the outside liability, you less the preference share, and whatever value you will get now is nothing but the net asset available to the equity shareholder. Okay, so 1,73,000 minus 15 minus 20. Okay, the value that you all should have got would have been 1,38,000 for Tiger, and 61,000 minus 5,000 would be 56,000. This is nothing but net assets available to equity shareholders. Okay, so this is net asset available. Once we get the net asset available, okay, now we need to find the net asset value per share. Okay, so very simple. Now that's the first thing that we need to find. Net asset value per share. The formula is net asset available divided by number of equity shares. Okay, net asset available in the sense net asset available to the equity shareholder upon number of equity shares. Now in the first case, the net asset available is 1,38,000 divided by. Now we need to find the number of equity shares. Now for Tiger Limited, it's given that equity share capital rupees 10 per share and the amount is 1 lakh. So rupees 1 lakh divided by 10, we'll get the number of shares. So we have 10,000 shares in the first case. So 1,38,000 divided by 10,000, we get the value of share as rupees 13.80. Okay, that's rupees 13.80 per share, the net asset value of the share. Similarly, for the Leopard Limited, it will be 56,000 divided by the number of shares. Now the value is given here as 50,000 of 10 rupees each. So 50,000 divided by 10 is 5,000 shares. So we note down this as 5,000. You divide, your total value should be rupees 11.20. So that's our first answer, that is net asset value per share as per net asset value method. Okay, this is how you need to solve. You need to take all the asset, less all the liability, less all preference share. Whatever value you get is your asset, net asset available to the equity shareholder divided by the number of shares. You get the value of share as per net asset method. That's the first part of the sum. Now the second part, they ask us to find the exchange ratio. So now second, before finding the exchange ratio, okay, so what we are going to do here now is the formula. We already have this learned about the formula, so I'll write here as exchange ratio on net asset value method is equal to net asset of the company who is going to get taken over. Now in the question is given that Tiger is going to take over Leopard. So here it will be the net asset, whichever company is getting taken over, net asset of taken over company, so it will be Leopard upon net asset of the company who is taking over the other company. So in this case Tiger is taking over, so upon Tiger. So in our case, the formula, the value would have been net asset of Leopard is 11.20 divided by 13.80. So we get the ratio, the exchange ratio as 0.811 share approximately. So this is the meaning of, for every 1 share of Tiger, Leopard will be getting 0.811 share. So now let us see the final answer, Therefore the number of shares issued. Number of shares issued will be number of shares of the taken over company, that is Leopard, into the exchange ratio. So here we have number of equity shares of Leopard was 5,000 into the ratio 0.811 share. When you multiply, we got the value as 4055 shares. So in order to Tiger to take over Leopard, Tiger will have to give Leopard 4055 shares of Tiger Limited.
Okay, now since we have found the new number of equity shares, okay, now we can use that same value and find the post-merger EPS. So the post-merger EPS formula is NPAT minus preference dividend upon number of equity share. Okay, now in the question you can see NPAT is given of both the companies. So we'll note down that there is no, there is preference share, but then there is no percentage of dividend which is mentioned. So we'll have to consider preference dividend as 0. Number of equity share will be of the acquiring company, which was 10,000, and the new share that we got is 4,055. So we will use that. The post merger EPS is 24,000 plus 15,000 upon 10,000 plus 4,055. Once we add and we'll divide, we'll get a final answer as rupees 2.77 per share. That's the new EPS or post merger EPS. Okay, so with that, we were able to complete two different types of sums which can come in the exam based on post merger sums of EPS MPS. One is using EPS MPS and PE, and the other one is using the net asset value method. Okay, I hope everyone have understood both the methods. Okay, with that, we will be ending this video here. Thank you.